Well, I can start, Brian, by saying the film was fantastic. I watched it yesterday and I've not been able to think about anything else today other than that. I mean, I just wondered how it kind of came about for you. Did you kind of see the story unravel on the news and think, right, we need to cover this and we need to do it soon?
Look, I was trying to figure out what my next project was going to be. As this story broke, my ears immediately perked up. At the time, I had not been following Jamal Khashoggi. I hadn't actively been reading his writings. But as his story broke, I did. And I saw these narratives coming forward in the media that Jamal was an ISIS sympathizer, that he was working with terrorists, that he was friends with Osama bin Laden. Of course, this was all propaganda and not true. And then as I started to read Jamal's articles in the Washington Post, then I brought on an Arabic-speaking researcher saying, hey, go find me everything you can on him. I became impassioned by this story. And it checked all the boxes for what I was looking for in the next film I was going to make. And here was something that I was feeling passionate about. And then it became, could I gain the access? Could I gain the trust to be able to craft the film? And that was a several months process before I actually really began shooting and making what would become The Dissident.
I mean, the film shows that having opinions and reporting on the truth can be very dangerous. Do you ever worry about yourself, given your commitment to doing just that?
I'm always asked this question, and the answer is we all of us, we make choices in our life, and I'm choosing to go pursue content like this, to tell stories like this because I'm passionate about these stories. And so to go and pursue stories like this and go make films like this and then think all day of looking behind your shoulder really wouldn't make a lot of logical sense. And so so I don't really focus on that, as that's negative thinking. And I'm choosing to make content and films that seek to make the world a better place. So if I'm going to do that, I really can't spend a lot of time, focusing on what ifs.
Do you think that it was Icarus that kind of developed this passion for politics and investigative journalism? Because could you have sort of envisaged you'd make a film like The Dissident otherwise? Would you have wanted to?
Look, it really did. I mean, what started in the making of Icarus, I couldn't have imagined, would have transpired into what it became. But then as that took hold and I went on that journey, and then, having the incredible, recognition that the film received, it certainly inspired my activism and drove me to want to continue to tell stories like this.
Yeah, I mean, Icarus displayed for me the true beauty of documentary filmmaking. I bet even now you probably still can't quite believe the kind of journey it took you on. But going into every project off the back of Icarus, such as The Dissident, is there an even greater sense now for you of let's just see where this takes us? Because I guess if anyone has experienced what it could be like to go in a completely different direction they anticipated, it's yourself.
Look, I've had a very up and down, all over the place career. There's projects that I'm working on right now that are taking on very, very serious subject matter. There's one project that I'm doing just because I'm really, really passionate and like the person that I'm working with, but is not serious. But I'm driven by stories of impact. Like I'm driven. I I enjoy the work of getting involved in the lives of Omar Abdulaziz and Hatice Cengiz, and seeing if you can do something that can affect change, or that can enlighten, or that can inspire. And the messages that I'm constantly receiving, either through my social media or people that find ways to reach out to me, inspire the work too. When I know that people that see this work, they're finding inspiration from it, and that means a lot to me, and makes the risks feel worthwhile as well.
Because but in regards to the murder of Jamal, it bothers me so much that story just kind of came and went, like so many stories do. Do you think we're kind of suffering from there being too much news coming too fast, because things pass so quickly? I mean, we have a saying here, which is tomorrow's news is tomorrow's chip paper. I mean, is that partly what also helped inspired you to want to make this film? Because when things are on celluloid, it almost makes it feel like they exist forever.
Look, Icarus had a huge impact, beyond the film. When the film came out, August of 2017, Russia was going to the Olympics. 5 months later, they weren't. And that was the power of film and bringing change, and the ramifications and global reform in sport that came as a result of that story. And I think so many, tens of millions. I was told that Icarus has had 700 million views. Hard to imagine, and yet, that's inspirational. You look at a film like Blackfish or The Cove, that had those kind of impacts as well, and that certainly inspires me in taking on subject matter like this.
I mean, 700 million is an incredible achievement. Even with that in mind, did you have troubles distributing The Dissident because of its content?
The Dissident has been very disappointing in that regard. We went to Sundance. We had an incredible response, standing ovations. Hillary Clinton was there. Just the most exceptional reviews from critics. And obviously, you don't make films for critics. I don't make films for critics. But the reviews were, everything I could have hoped for. And then the film failed to receive a single offer of global distribution, not from Netflix, not from Amazon, on and on. And it was clear that the subject matter of the film was guiding that decision, rather than the content and desire of an audience to want to see the film. And that's disappointing, and because I don't make a film for awards. I don't make a film for for money. I'm making the film because I'm really passionate about it. And in this case, what I am and was and still is and I am passionate about is speaking truth to power, the freedom of press, the freedom of speech, and these horrific human rights abuses that have been happening in Saudi Arabia that are going unpunished. And so the limited access that the film is going to have in a global environment, is tough to understand, that these business interests and shareholder value and being able to take and make investment with the kingdom is taking precedent over what subscribers would want to see, and also taking precedent over seeking justice for these human rights violations, as so many suffer in prisons, or hundreds are beheaded simply for a disparaging comment against an authoritarian regime.
Yes, it's incredibly disappointing reaction on home territory, I should say. But my final question was, I'm just wondering about the reaction from Saudi Arabia. Have you got any sense of how it's been received from the powers that be over there? I'm not sure if anyone would have seen it, but I just wondered if you've been privy to any feedback at all.
I haven't heard from them. I mean, I know that they've they've attacked the film's Rotten Tomato user score. They've attacked the IMDb score. They've been active on Twitter. They, and who knows? I don't know what sort of backwheeling might have been done or pressure campaign that was putting on, when it came to the acquisition of the film. But I think it's all par for the course. What the film shows is the lengths to which they will go to suppress truth.
Well, I think you're doing a fantastic job being out there making these really important films. So I don't know what you've got next. You probably can't speak about what you got next, but I look forward to seeing it when it comes out eventually.
Thanks, Stefan.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!